Arguments. You will first hear the closing argument from the prosecution. That will be followed by defense counsel. Are we ready to proceed, Miss Lazarus?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may sum up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the charge you are considering today is one of attempted murder. We believe that Brittany Love entered the stable with a gun in her purse and waited for her husband to appear there. When he did appear, she used her gun and shot him. Neighbors appeared very quickly and summoned medical help. Otherwise, you might very well be considering a charge of murder in the first degree. Now, the defense has attempted to prove that Peter Love was responsible for the shooting that almost ended his life. But a very quick review of the evidence will show that they have not even raised a reasonable doubt. Brittany Love was portrayed as an abused wife. But where is the evidence? Not even their own witness, Dr. Jamie Frame, could prove conclusively that the injuries he treated Mrs. Love for were caused by her husband. Mrs. Love has testified that her husband raped her. Again, there was not one shred of medical evidence to back up her claim. Seems much more likely a very convenient bit of testimony when things weren't going so well for the defense. Regarding Mr. Love's alleged behavior toward the child, again, where's the evidence? It has only been established that Mr. Love hired a baby nurse for the child and instructed her in the child's care, sometimes without consulting his wife. In any society, this is not justification for attempted murder. Now, it seems very obvious that the marriage of Brittany and Peter Love was an unhappy one. What marriage can be happy? When a woman tricks a rich man into marrying her to give her illegitimate child his name and his fortune. And if Peter Love responded cruelly to the fact that he was not her child's biological father, why didn't Brittany call out, seek help for herself and her child? The state, the local police, they all have agencies to assist women in the predicament that Brittany Love describes. Why didn't she cry out? Even a small child has done as much, yet she did nothing. Why didn't she hire a lawyer? Because a lawyer could have gotten her out of her marriage, filed an injunction to let her keep her child, and ended it. But a lawyer might not have been able to get her the one thing she so desperately wanted. Peter Love's fortune. No, Mrs. Love preferred to use violence. When her husband walked into that stable, she was waiting for him, and she served as his judge, jury, and sentencer. Now, I want you to concentrate very hard on the next thing I'm about to say, because the responsibility of it rests on your shoulders. To exonerate her would be sending a message, allowing citizens to set their own standards for the permissible use of force. Are we going to allow a legally competent defendant to kill or perform acts of violence with impunity? Brittany Love is a violent person. She chose a violent means to end her marriage. And I cannot urge you strongly enough to find her guilty of attempted murder.
All right, thank you, Miss Lazarus. Mr. Edwards, are you ready with your closing statement?
Oh, ready, Your Honor.
My baby.
What is that woman doing in this court?
Your Honor, this is incredible.
I just thought you should see him for a while, do you? I mean, I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
Let me have him. Your Honor, I demand that you declare a mistrial. Don't you have a heart? This is an outrageous attempt to prejudice the jury.
If you believe that, I feel sorry for you.
Bailiff, would you please be good enough to escort this lady, this child, and the defendant out of the courtroom, please?
This way, ladies.
Will the prosecutor and the defense please step up to the bench?
Your Honor, I had nothing to do with bringing this woman or this child in here.
Your Honor, I think you should declare a mistrial.
Well, I know you do, Peggy, but I'm just not going to do that.
Why not, sir?
Because I think what just happened may hurt Mrs. Love as well as help her. And I think the jury might see her as a loving mother or as a calculating woman. In either event, she might have blown her case, Mr. Edwards. So you better get your summation ready. You're going to need it.
Now, the next part of Another World.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Brittany Love made a big mistake. She got pregnant, and she didn't have a husband. She knew Peter Love well enough to have some feelings for him, so she convinced him to marry her without telling him what her condition was. She thought he offered her kindness and the kind of security that she never had. That was her biggest mistake. Brittany did fall in love after she married Peter. She fell in love with her baby. The bond between her and her baby was so strong that Brittany would almost do anything at all to protect him. Unfortunately, this did not lead her to consider her own best interests. You all heard Peter Love admit this afternoon that he hated his wife and that there were times that he wanted to see her dead. Admittingly, she deceived him. But I submit to you that his responses were not appropriate. Even her detractors cannot deny that she was a good and faithful wife until Peter began his campaign to break her. Even then, she was faithful to the marriage. She tolerated abuse from him until she could stand it no longer, and then she fought back. Prosecution states that Brittany didn't take advantage of the help available. Imagine yourself in her circumstances. You bear a child and love him, and then thinking that there is no reason for you to distrust your husband, you sign an agreement that gives him total custody of your child. He says to you, if you leave this marriage or divulge your secret, you'll never see your child again. He and his family are rich and powerful. You feel like nothing. What do you do? Peter's love's tyranny went on and on and on. It seemed that he couldn't degrade her enough. Brittany Love tried to save herself and her baby. She confided in friends. She tried to take her baby and run away. She began to carry a gun. The day of the shooting, Brittany called the police. Brittany hadn't seen her baby in almost 24 hours. She went to the stable to meet Peter to find out where her baby was. When she went to the stables that day and turned around, she saw a man who hated her and who wanted to see her dead. That man was aiming a shotgun in her direction. What would you do? There are several conditions necessary for a find of self-defense. What Brittany did meets all of those conditions. She found herself in a life-threatening situation. There was no chance of escape. She was an abused wife, but she was not delusional. And she knew that he had come to that stable to kill her. So she did the only thing that she could do. She saved her own life. Now, Brittany Love may not be a person of sterling morals or integrity. Who is? All she ever wanted was to live in peace and raise her child. What would you do? You would find Brittany Love not guilty.
We'll take a short recess for dinner, and when we reconvene, I'll instruct the jury.
All rise. All rise.
Please be seated. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to decide. Is Brittany Love guilty or not guilty?
There you are. I was afraid.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Oh, hold my hand.
Oh, as soon as they say not guilty, we're out of here, right, Zach?
Right.
All right, good thing, because first thing tomorrow morning, we turn these in at the gate, and we get on the big bird, and we're going to fly to Montana. You, me, and the baby. We're going to buy that ranch.
Chaparral Hill.
Yeah, we're going to make it. I swear we will. Hey, Peter. It's been real, but adios, jerk. I don't know.
Hey, what's the delay?
The judge. We're on his schedule.
Why is that idiot Ewing grinning like that? What does he know that we don't?
He knows nothing. Only the jury knows anything. From where I sit, they don't like your wife and her boyfriend any more than you do.
All rise. The Honorable Leonard L. Sims presiding. Please be seated.
Has the jury reached a verdict, Madam Foreperson?
We have, Your Honor.
Read your verdict, Madam Foreperson.
We, the jury.
There you go, Red. Safe and sound. No, order. You stable boy. You brought those reporters. You know, sometimes you make absolutely no sense. It's the same as Christmas when you paraded that army of reporters to my house. What the hell is going on here? There'll be order in this court.
Read your verdict, Madam Foreperson.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of attempted murder.
there ever any doubt? Yes, there was. I'm relieved. I think you should feel even more so. This is not over. We'll appeal. We'll win this.
Zach, you did good work.
Apparently not good enough.
We will now poll the jury. How do you find?
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
I want to see my baby.
Guilty.
I want to see my baby.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Are you okay?
I'll never be okay. As long as I live.
That's not the end, Brittany. I promise.
Mr. Edwards? I'm now ready to pronounce sentence. Brittany Love, I am now ready to pronounce sentence. The law gives me the right to sentence you to up to 25 years in the state penitentiary for women. However, I am sensitive to the circumstances surrounding the shooting, your personal circumstances, and that you have a young child. But you have been found guilty of the crime charged. Accordingly, it is the sentence of this court that you be sentenced to a period of 5 years in the state penitentiary for women, with the strong recommendation of this court that you be eligible for parole after serving 2 years. I wish you good fortune, Mrs. Love.
It's okay, Brittany. Come on, Brittany. It'll be all right. Don't worry.
Please, please don't leave me here.
It's not over. We're going to get you out of this.
How?
There are a lot of things we can do. I won't let you down, I promise.
Please don't leave me here. I didn't do it. I'm innocent.
Listen to me. I'll find some basis of appeal. There's some technicality.
Exactly what he's talking about. It's going to be all right.
You won't be in jail any longer than you have to.
2 years. He said 2 years. Our poor baby, our poor little Catelyn.
He's going to be all right. I promise you that. Exactly. I have to get this appeal. I'll do anything I have to. You tell me what you need.
I need you, Catelyn. Now, it's going to take a lot of footwork to get this off the ground.
What are the chances, really?
It's going to be an uphill fight. The DA's office could beat trouble. And the judge may not be too cooperative either.
This is ridiculous. She wasn't trying to kill him. How could they find him guilty?
Look, it's over now. And what we have to do is get a new judge and jury.
Yeah, and how long will that take?
The appeal process is never easy. We could be living under a cloud for quite a long time.
Yeah, well, I don't know if she can take that.
Look, we'll do everything we can. She needs you now.
Brittany, come here.
It's no use.
Brittany, I'm here for you, and I'm not going anywhere. I need you. Please.